Chicago is falling apart because of Board of Education meltdown as city falls apart. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
On the board, who he thinks leaked to members of the media, including me. Now, the letter reads, quote, "As you know, we are conducting an investigation involving the CPS Board of Education and communications with the media."
Like our non-pandemic years, just grant funding from the federal government made up a quarter of the city's total budgeted appropriations. That city could not function without federal money.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing these stories every day. Now, y'all, your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandy Boy Johnson. He just can't catch a break, y'all. What is a good socialist to do in a capitalistic society? How you get them to put some respect on your name? Well, it looks like whatever moves he's making are not working, y'all. He gave $500 million to the Chicago Teachers Union, but they're still upset. The Chicago Public Schools are launching an investigation into who leaked information about a public meeting, y'all. Somebody leaked information about a public meeting, and now they are sending legal demands for information from a journalist, y'all. Southwest Airlines is pulling out of Chicago's biggest airport, O'Hare. And the context behind all of this, y'all, is that the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor wants to take on Donald Trump and the Trump administration, but his city relies on federal funding to survive, y'all. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at all of this, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it.
My focus right now is doing the thing that I was elected and charged to do, which was to drive violence down in the city of Chicago, to build more affordable homes, to invest in young people, to invest in good paying jobs, to invest in our education system. Look, there's going to be $500 million going into our public schools. It's the largest investment from TIF surplus ever in the history of Chicago.
Here you can see that the Chicago Teachers Union passed a resolution for May 1, Day of Civic Action and Defense of Public Education. Now, this is the organization that Brandy Boy Johnson just gave $500 million, y'all, that he's bragging about and that they're bragging about. Now, they have all of these whereases. So much of this. Let's just read this one. Whereas historic examples from enslaved Africans breaking the Confederacy. A. Philip Randolph's organization, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're just giving all of these different reasons why they should get the $500 million but not have to work every day that they're scheduled to work. And here it says, resolve that the Chicago Teachers Union House of Delegates formally declares May 1 a day of civic action in defense of public education, where we are in community engagement, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to work, y'all. They're giving themselves a free day off. They got their $500 million, but they still want to get a free day off to protest some stuff, y'all. I guess historic inequities or some stuff. Now, in response to this, the Urban Center writes, the Urban Center strongly condemns the Chicago Teachers Union's recent action that employs children as their political tools. In their resolution yesterday advocating for a one-day school shutdown on May 1st, no school, no work, the CTU has once again resorted to utilizing children to advance its radical political agenda. Y'all know, this is the same organization that just got $500 million from the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago. So y'all, looks like they're not happy with their $500 million that they were bragging about. They still feel like they need to do a protest for some reason, y'all. I don't exactly know. And in the meantime and in between time, y'all, the Chicago Board of Education ran a public meeting, y'all. Public meeting, where people from the public they hear what is being proposed, they get to speak public, open to the public. And when one reporter reported about this, they said that someone within the Board of Education had leaked the information about the public meeting. See, they wanted to raise taxes during that public meeting, which they did. So they heard one of their own had leaked it, and now their law firm that represents them is actually trying to get information from the reporter and calling him in to give them information.
The Board of Education here in Chicago pressing the media for answers about a leaked story today.
Yeah, Fox Chicago received a legal letter this morning as part of that investigation, and Paris is here with what's happening. Interesting, Paris. Tell
Very
us.
interesting, Sylvia and Terrence, now involving members of the media in an internal investigation. This morning, I received an email at my Fox Chicago inbox from the law firm Salvatore Prescott Porter & Porter. This is a law firm retained by the Chicago Board of Education, as board president Sean Hardin has sought to find alleged leakers on the board who he thinks leaked to members of the media, including me. Now, the letter reads, quote, as you know, we are conducting an investigation involving the CPS Board of Education and communications with the media. We understand you have information relevant to our investigation. If you're willing to talk to us, we would appreciate scheduling time to speak with you. Now, multiple sources on the board tell me President Hardin has threatened to, quote, force the resignation of any board member that he finds leaked information to me about a special public meeting the board scheduled the last week of December. Now, at this meeting, they voted to raise property taxes by the maximum amount allowed by state law. Sources say the board president has also sought to find the alleged leaker to another reporter who had reported on the search for a new CPS superintendent. Now, I reported a story about this meeting back in December, and according to sources, it caught the ire of Hardin, who then retained this law firm to conduct these investigations. And now comes as the board has been involved in a chaotic and delayed search for a new CPS superintendent. The search firm hired to lead that process also parted ways with the board over disagreements on candidates. Now, watchdog Austin Berg of the Chicago Policy Center, he's long been critical of Chicago Teachers Union and Mayor Johnson. He says he believes Hardin has gone too far, causing a culture of secrecy at the board and now running up against the First Amendment.
And the hits keep coming for Chicago, y'all. In the meantime, I already said in the meantime, meantime, right? In the double meantime, Southwest Airlines is pulling out of Chicago's biggest airport, O'Hare. Now, they are going to continue service to Midway, but it does say something when your boy, Brandy Boy Johnson, continues to say how well Chicago's doing. But at the same time, you have a major airline saying, yeah, we're going to reduce our service to Chicago right now.
Southwest Airlines making a major move, stopping service at O'Hare Airport. Victor Jacobo is live at O'Hare detailing why this is happening and the impact on customers. Victor?
Yeah, Joe, if someone has come to O'Hare recently, they've no doubt seen this massive banner that you see behind me touting Southwest Airlines service here. But that is all coming to a close later this summer, bringing an end to a 5-year run at this airport. Come June 4th, Southwest Airlines will no longer fly out of O'Hare Airport. In a statement to CBS News Chicago, the airline said operating out of O'Hare continues to be challenging, and we are confident we can serve Chicagoland through our strongly held position at Chicago Midway.
A surprising move. O'Hare's a really important airport of the national air system.
DePaul University transportation expert Joe Schwieterman tells me Southwest aimed to cater to more customers when it started O'Hare service 5 years ago.
And in the background of all of this, y'all, is a fight between Brandy Boy Johnson and the Trump administration. He's looking to move Chicago away from Trump, but at the same time, he and his entire city depends on federal dollars. Mm-hmm. And as you will see in this report, there really isn't very much he can do, y'all. I've been saying in many videos that he's powerless to stop it. Well, here's another example of how your boy is just powerless.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson wants you to know that he is doing a great job. In fact, he's decided to bypass traditional media altogether and head straight to the live stream crowd, appearing with a self-described Marxist influencer who's got millions of followers online. The mayor also wants you to know something else. It is not his fault that his ultra-progressive agenda is struggling. According to Johnson, the problem is the Democrat establishment, wealthy donors, capitalism, everybody but him. The list goes on and on. But don't worry, help is on the way. Johnson says he's building a coalition with some of the most liberal mayors in America.
Right now, we are in the process of we're forming sort of a mayor's coalition, much like district and state's attorneys have formed to fight back against federal overreach. He expressed a desire and commitment to work with the city of Chicago, Boston. We have Seattle on board. We have Oakland, Mayor Lee, Mayor Bass, and Los Angeles as well.
that Chicago has had this ongoing problem, and I'll never forget. It was a group of young people who were looting, like they were. I think the youngest was like 12, into their teens, were looting a convenience store, and the mayor was questioned by some reporters, and I think one reporter used the term like gang, like it was a gang of young people.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
the mayor, reprimanded the reporter and said that I object to the language. It has connotations of the mob. Oh, it was mob. It was a mob of young people, and he was trying to equate it with organized crime. I'm like, well, to equate these kids to organized crime is actually an insult to Cosa Nostra, because they were just all over the place. But that's what his concern was: is controlling language,
Right.
but not penalizing those who were stealing from local businesses. I don't know how you fix this. Looking at like the pre-pandemic, like or non-pandemic years, just grant funding from the federal government made up a quarter of the city's total budgeted appropriations. That city could not function without federal money.
So yeah, y'all, Chicago, you had.
Yeah. As you notice, a lot of shit going on in these states all run by Democrats. And it's a prime example of what happens when you have a Democrat running in power. I've been trying to tell y'all people for years about Democrats, but you don't listen. And why is that? Y'all brainwashed. Oh boy. Oh, juicy ass green apple. Granny Snow. Can't let get off of it. Can't get enough of it, man. Just can't. Well, this is my video. Enjoy.